Greetings, esteemed action figure collectors and appreciators of posable plastic. It's your brother King Ape back again with another action figure discussion. And today we will be taking a look at McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman. Now, this particular Batman is from the Dark Knights of Steel storyline. It's kind of an Elseworlds story, from what I understand. But most of the characters are that are in this storyline. It's depicted in the medieval times. So you have a medieval version of not only Batman, but I believe Wonder Woman, Superman, I think even Green Lantern and Flash. I'm not sure. I haven't read that storyline, but McFarlane is releasing action figures based on these characters from that storyline. So this is one of the first offerings, I believe, of that particular storyline, and we'll just get a look real quick here. I hope everybody's doing well. I appreciate you guys coming through to check out this look at this Batman. And here he is in the packaging. Let's see here. So, you know, the McFarlane packaging, window box on the side here, Batman, Dark Knights of Steel. Back of the packaging, we have some nice art. Actually, some really nice art here, just showing the, Batman on a throne and with his sword and everything. Here's the other side. There's the QR code. You can scan that, and I guess it'll take you to DC Universe Infinite. Here's the barcode if you guys want to pick this figure up. So without further ado, let's get old Batman out of his plastic solitude. First things first, we'll take a look at the card. Appreciate you guys coming through. Hang out with your boy King Ape. It's always nice to talk about a new action figure and get your thoughts and things like that. Be sure to subscribe too if you guys come through. Doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, and I would greatly appreciate it. Here's this wafer, action figure stand. I call it the black wafer. Just a generic DC stand that we get from all of, from McFarlane for all the figures. This is the card, collector's card. Has that same artwork that's on the back of the box. Dark Knights of Steel on the back. Here's the bio or data file. So if you guys want to read up on it, you can pause it. Take a look at that. All right. Now, whoops. Sorry about that, guys. Let me get back. Give me just a second. Get everything adjusted. Okay. Let's get old Bats out of this plastic solitude. And there he is. And then let's get his sword out. Okay, so normally I like to, look at, well, I guess these are accessories, but here's the main accessory right here. As you can see, it's his sword. And for the most part, nicely sculpted. You have some paint on the handle. And I don't know if this may be molded in like a silver plastic, and the handle may have been the same color and they painted it. I believe they did. But either way, there's a sword. Let's get into bats. He's got a lot of detail around when we look at the head here. Let's see here. You can see that detail around the cowl. He's taken on some damage. He's been getting into a few battles since he's a knight, I would imagine, in this storyline. Pretty good head sculpt. I mean, for the most part, McFarlane always delivers on the head sculpts. You have some paint here. The flesh tone looks pretty good. Around the lips, it looks good. Recessed eyes, you can't really see them. That's the head from the side. You see more of the damage. Some damage right there. At the crown. Right there. Even around the collar here. That's really cool that they really, went into, I don't know if that's a plastic defect there, but you can play it off as damage. Damage here, all around the collar. You've got damage. So that's good. I wish they had kind of put a little more of a wash on there. We have damage here on the breastplate all the way down to the lower ab section. You have damage. You have some damage marks that they've sculpted in on the shoulder pieces as well. So that's really cool. You have straps here, which is kind of the cape, but it looks like it's almost pieced together. But it's just damage. There's the sword sheath. Has some sculpting here around the elbows for the creases, the undergarment, armor kind of sculpting in. So gauntlets has the scallops on it. Those feel kind of soft. We have some sculpting here on the hands. It looks pretty good. A little bit of paint right here. I believe it's all this color and they painted it. We have a strap here for the utility belt, a medieval version of the utility belt. And let's see that when you lift it up, you can see it has pouches all the way around. Nicely sculpted. Minimal amount of paint on this figure, So, they try to cut costs where they can. And I like the fact that they did sculpt a lot of damage in the metal here, the metal parts. His skirt piece, or loincloth, if you pull that up, you can see there's some textured detail underneath, which is really nice. And you can kind of see where the pants are, you can kind of see the creases they sculpted in. So that's really nice. And this is how it looks from the back. Good sculpting on the back part of the legs. Here's the boots. A little bit of damage there, especially when you look at the shin area. Kind of a lot of dings and missing pieces of the metal. Then you get to the top of the boots. Let me see. Let me kind of move that light so you guys can get a better look at the sculpt detail at the top of the boots there, which is not too bad. No, not really any detail on the bottom of the feet. So, I mean, he looks pretty good. I wish they had kind of put a bit of a wash on him, and I think that would have helped bring out those sculpt details even more so. But as is, I mean, he's a pretty decent figure. Let's get his sword into his hand. There's the sword. It's a rather long sword, but that's how it fits in his hand. He doesn't have, well, he does have, he has butterfly joints, but they're kind of, I don't know, they really don't come together enough for him to really, he can wield the sword like that, but I think it's going to be a problem if you try to have him wielding it in a kind of in a fighting stance. But as far as wielding it that way, he wields it pretty well. And then if you want to take it and pop it into the sheath, it goes like that. I don't know why they left all of this exposed, but I don't know if I would have made a decision to sculpt it that way. I think I would have brought that sheath cover all the way up to here. So let's get into range of motion. So the foot goes down about that much, comes up about that much. You have toe bend, ankle pivot. It's kind of weird, especially on this one. It's just that the ball, the ankle articulation ball, if you look right there, look how big it is. It's just really oversized. I don't know why they elected. And like I said, it's kind of hit or miss with McFarlane. They'll get some things right, and then, man. So moving along, it kind of hinders the ankle pivot. But there's your double hinge for the knee. Not getting much in the way of thigh rotation. I mean, hardly anything. This is the legs out about that much. There's how they did the thigh swivel section at the hip. But see, I mean, you kind of, if you open his legs, you get a little bit of twist. So you might just have to mess with it. But when his legs are facing downward, you don't really get much. In the torso, you're getting movement. It's like an upper torso articulation. Down. He's not eating Ab Crunch cereal at all, you guys. He goes back about that much, down about that much. Let's see. Arms have this is a soft piece for the shoulders. So his arms go up about that much. Rotate around. Like I said, you have the butterfly joint, which I can appreciate. They did sculpt that because normally it would just be a round, smooth piece. So I'm glad that they put some sculpting detail in there. Double hinge at the elbow. The bicep swivel is at the lower part of the sleeve, at the sleeve. So that aesthetically, that looks good. I'm glad they decided to put it there. He has a vertical hinge for the right hand, where it articulates there. It's sculpted instead of a round peg, and I appreciate that. Over here we have, let's see, about this. I think it's the same. Yeah, it's a vertical, but you can, you can turn the hand. Once again, I don't know why he has a trigger hand. It's medieval. It's medieval times, and Batman has two trigger hands. I can't figure that out. Why McFarlane makes that decision to do that. Here's the head. Down that much, up that much. He can turn, of course, left to right, or right to left. That's pretty much his range of motion, you guys. Let me see if I can get him to stand on his own. Surprisingly, he stands on his own, but I'm gonna have to mess around with this ankle because the the way it, I don't know, for some reason, it's just way too big. Look at that. Look how big that ball is. That, I don't know why that's not sculpted and a lot smaller. It just kind of makes it awkward when you're trying to stand him a certain way. And his feet, I think his feet could be a little bit bigger. So I don't know. It's a decent release. I appreciate the sculpting, and like the detail with the cape is pretty nice. I just wish they had done more, had a little more paint, and I wish the hands, I mean the ankle articulation, the ball peg was done a little bit better. So I'm gonna give you guys the height so I can get you out of here. He comes in at about just over 7 inches. And here he is with some other kind of, we have the Superman. I can't remember that storyline, but he had the gladiator attire, so they look good together. And then of course, I gotta bring out Gladiator Batman. And Gladiator Batman has more of a Capullo, looks more like Capullo's art. This Batman, I guess he kind of reflects the artist, his how he draws Batman in that particular comic, Knights of Steel. So I think they look pretty good side by side. And here's, I'm gonna put a female in. This is Raven from the Titans, our Teen Titans. So this will be good. I mean, as far as having them all on the shelf together, I think that would be cool. If you want to, put them side by side, I think they're probably going to do more characters from that storyline. So that's them. Then we'll do side by side. Always like to kind of do that so we can see the height, how they look height wise. And scale is kind of all over the place, but that's how they scale. Looks like medieval Batman is a little bit taller than everybody else. I wish they just made the scaling more consistent. So let me get them out of the way, and then I'll just bring in a figure from another line. That's my custom King Grayskull. This is Vicron. These are from the Mattel Masters of the Universe Masterverse. So that's how they scale if you want to kind of mix the worlds. See how they look as far as height. He's actually a little bit taller than King Grayskull. Vicron towers over them. So that's that. And that's Dark Knights of Steel Batman. He's okay. In my opinion, he's okay. He could definitely use a little more paint. He could have definitely used some more accessories. But then again, he is not a gold label release. He's a regular release. So, but some extra hands. I mean, I'm not even asking for another head portrait, but some extra hands and a little more paint detail would have, and different articulation at the ankles. Those ball pegs are horrible. That's the only knocks I give it. But other than that, I think it's a pretty decent release. I want to see what else they release under the Dark Knights of Steel title in figure form, and then I'll make my final assessment once they do, like, if they do a whole wave. So I'm curious about what you guys think. Drop in the comments, let me know. And if you like the video, please hit that like button. Once again, you guys, subscribe if you don't mind. I would love to have you become part of Ape Nation, and tap the bell for notifications to stay up on the newest vids to the channel. And that's it for now. And until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed this session, and I enjoyed talking to you about this figure. So until next time, I wish you all love, peace, and plasticness.